made 3 specific products for 3 specific markets. The 7D fits a gap where the quality is really good so you can use it as a studio camera, but the speed is really good so you can use it for sports and wildlife. If you're a sports wildlife guy only, that's what you'll use the 7D for. You want that speed. If you can't push yourself in terms of a budget to that body, the 50D is a very, very well priced alternative. And the count in terms of pixel and frame rate is so, well, it's substantial enough. You know, you're going from 15 to 18, you're going from 6 frames a second to 8 frames a second. Depending on the sport environment that you're in, if you're doing motor racing or athletics, you might definitely need the 8 frames a second. In which case you have to kind of push yourself to the 7D for the speed aspect. If, however, the sport that you're shooting is maybe not necessarily that fast and the high frames a second isn't that critical, the 50D is absolutely fantastic. The 5D, it's difficult to compare in terms of those brackets because it's almost a completely different kettle of fish. It's a lot lower frame rate, but your pixel count is huge and you've got your full frame. The 5D fits into a segment that's almost without real competition because the quality you're getting on that full frame sensor, the pixel count you're getting on that full frame sensor, the low light performance, the full high def video, it's ideally a studio camera. Yes, you could probably use it for sport, but its autofocus and its frame rate don't kind of put it in a sports category. So very dependent on what you're doing, you have to choose the camera that's best for you. Now it's not always, oh, you must go and buy a D Mark IV or you must go and buy a 5D. You've got to try and get the best your money can afford. Well, no, you should get the best that your choice of photography allows. This is where the 7D is actually very, very interesting because it allows a good pixel count for studio, it allows a good high frame rate for wildlife and sport, and it's, as I said, fits a segment which is almost like a bridge between I want more but I don't need, you know, and these are the kind of things. So, and looking at your photography, you need a 5D Mark II. And again, the wants and the needs, I'm going to go back to the story of stick with the body you've got and put the dollars into the L series. The giant leap that you get, if you've got, you know, an amateur, for example, the 450D and a, you know, maybe a better quality, a 75-300 DO lens, which is really good quality. For a 450D to a 50D or a 7D, is not really going to see a giant leap in quality. You might see a leap in terms of frames a second. He's not going to see a huge leap in terms of the pixel count, the pixel quality on his screen if he stays with that lens. If, however, he takes his 450D and goes to an L series lens, the leap in quality that he gets immediately is instantly gratifying. And that is always a far better investment for first investment. Upgrade your lens first, upgrade your body at a later stage. It was incumbent on us to work our butts off to make sure the 1D Mark IV is everything that it needed to be. And obviously the top comment and the top topic on everybody's lips, all the pro photographers, the guys who are coming here this afternoon, are all going to ask, can it focus? And the simple answer is hell yes. First and foremost, beyond anything else that we needed to do, we focused on getting the autofocus performance to be the best it could possibly be from the get-go, which is why the D Mark IV is receiving a little bit of flack at the moment compared to the 7D. 7D's got a whole bunch of very interesting things that the Mark IV doesn't. What they basically did, they trimmed down all of the frilly bits, and they focused on getting a machine that is essentially a workhorse. The high-def video is spectacular. The autofocus is truly awesome, and they built it in such a way that the separate microprocessor that we put into it is going to make it effective in any environment you want to use it. 99% of the users are going to be in the sports and wildlife arena, and for them the performance is going to be spectacular, and that's the idea behind the 1D Mark IV. And not to knock the 1D Mark III, there's thousands of users of 1D Mark III out there. This is most certainly a long considered upgrade for the 1D Mark III in all aspects. So it wasn't just, yes, we could put 20 million pixels in here, yes, we could put orientation sensors and grid displays like we've done on the 7D. It was pointless for us to do those kind of things. The 7D's got its own category that it fits into, but to cut down on the frills on the D Mark IV, but make what it can do really, 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 really good. The target market is the sports photographer, and for them to actually walk around with a huge lens on a regular basis is difficult. And as I said, like the golf guy or the guy sitting on the side of the football field, etc. Having a bigger pixel count on the smaller sensor gives them the possibility to have a smaller lens shorter, lighter, easier, easy to move around with high-speed moving subjects, get a shot, and even if the framing or the angle, the field of view is too big, they've got pixels that they can crop into. And we find the vast majority of sport and press photographers are always cropping into their images, because they don't like zooms, they always like primes. They can't control what's happening with the action, it's fairly random. Having a slightly wider angle on a shorter lens, but having pixels to crop into, has been the demand. And again, we've built this based on demand through surveying the pro photographers. And we've been supplying Getty Images, Associated Press, Reuters with pro SLRs for donkey's years. And these are the guys that we go to them and say, what do you want out of the next generation? And almost every single one without any default says we want more pixels. Yes, the pixels are physically smaller, but again, as I said to you, our big advantage in not only making the sensors, but making the machines that make the sensors, we can control the physical size of the pixels themselves. They're not that much smaller than D Mark III. The pixel count from 10 to 18 is a huge leap for the sports photographers. The evolution in terms of noise processing over the last 10 years has been radical. If you look at our camera back in 2000, the D30, you couldn't use it over 400 ISO. It was an absolute mess. The fact that the guys in the film era, how often when you shot in film did you shoot anything over 1600 ISO? How often did you ever shoot at 1600 ISO? You just didn't. Now it's become something that people want. You want to shoot at 1600, 3200, 6400. The fact that the ISO range on this has standard from 100 to 12,800, at 6400, the quality out of D Mark IV is insane. It looks like D Mark III at 1000 ISO. It's just what you're getting out of this at 1600 looks like 400 ASA 2 years ago. The evolution in noise processing is radical and brilliant, but not only ourselves, all manufacturers are pushing the boundaries of noise. And high ISO is becoming so bog standard and so easy to produce great quality quite quickly. All the manufacturers together, all of Nikon's latest cameras got video in it. All of Canon's latest cameras got video. Originally put in as a nice thing to have, but it's now become something that people demand, and it's making photographers think more in the multimedia environment than they ever did. The paparazzi in particular, oh man, they're jumping all over it, because having the photograph taken at 2 a.m. of Angelina Jolie out in the balcony, and then also having a video clip as well. So you not only got the front cover of the People, Heat magazine, whatever it is, but you've also got that 3-minute clip that's going to receive billions of downloads from YouTube in the next 24 hours. More and more photographers and more agencies like Getty Images, etc., are asking for more than just a picture, they're asking for a surrounding story. It's been really sort of interesting times for us the last couple of months. Since our first video camera, the 5D Mark II, with full high def, we launched that last year, around about this time, September, October, and it was our first with video capability. And the demand that we received from a segment that we didn't we totally underestimated, which is the video production companies, documentary, people shooting TV commercials, that kind of story. The demand from that segment of the market has been unprecedented. And it's come as quite a surprise for us that even a year after the product was announced, we're still in a backorder situation. About a month ago, Canon globally had a backorder situation around about 40,000 units of 5D Mark II. Every SLR that we've produced since then with video has got the full high definition capability. And when you start looking at the low light performance of some of the lenses like the 85 or 1.2, and having full high def, being able to shoot it up to 6400 ASA is insane, because the cinematic equivalents are $500,000 rand. So it's a ridiculous amount of money to actually have that out of a cinema camera. So the SLR market is changing quite dramatically, and the fact that it's not just pro photographers that are buying them, pro videographers are buying them for the video capability.